Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's a Crime. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda. And tonight we have I guess, bittersweet chat to talk about. A lot of you have heard that Barry Morphew has been arrested. That happened this morning, which is May 5th at around 9:15 a.m. And so I'm going to walk you through a few things of what happened today. We can have a little chit chat and go from there. And hopefully tonight the connection is better than it was today. For some reason, it was a little wonky. So big day, bittersweet because Barry Morphew has been arrested. So that is a relief. And in the other aspect, it tells us what it means. And it means that Suzanne Morphew for sure isn't coming home. And there hasn't been a body found as of yet. To my knowledge, I mean, things can happen tonight, but to my knowledge, nothing yet. So Barry has been arrested with and charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and also attempting to influence a public servant. Now, this is a little strange, right? Because we're going, what does that mean? And I did see Chris McDonough was live earlier. He talked a little bit about this. He says it could be a variety of things. And sometimes it could be something that happens upon arrest where he may say something to the police or something. So we don't know what that is yet. And we won't probably. The affidavit is under seal. And that happened this morning, and he was arrested outside of Anytime Fitness. And I'm not sure if he was just leaving the gym or if he was at the gym, but it was just outside Anytime Fitness. Now, let me show you guys. We're just going to go in and see here. I'm going to show you his mugshot. There's his mugshot, and quite interesting. He looks a little different. It's kind of dark on this one. Let me show you this one so you guys can see the difference. You can see here, this is to the right is Barry Morphew's newest mugshot, and the left is a year ago. So he has lost some weight. I believe he was training, weight training and that kind of thing. So leaning up for the summer, I'm sure, sun's out, guns out when it comes to Barry. As we heard earlier, even how he liked to go in the car and when he was younger, and he would literally do bicep curls while he's driving his vehicle. So I thought that was fairly interesting. So yeah, on the right is his mugshot, and on the left is his 25-second plea for his return of his wife. So very, very interesting. And that's his mugshot. Rita says the mugshot was hysterical. He looks terrified, lost a few pounds. Bear isn't as smart as he thought he was. Yeah, he's lost quite a bit. I'm going to say probably around 30 pounds or so. He's pretty lean. Could have been even more. So that was at 9:15 a.m. this morning in Poncha Springs. Now, he got arrested, goes there, and then immediately asks for a lawyer, which probably doesn't surprise most of you guys, right? He asked for a lawyer. He is in front of a judge tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. So that's happening tomorrow, which is Thursday, May 6th. And there was a press conference this afternoon at 3 p.m. We saw Sheriff Speasy speak. We saw the new DA, Linda Stanley, speak. And they had said the body hasn't been found yet. And they said, they talked about the charges. They said a few things in there that was very interesting. They said he was arrested without incident. 70 investigators were involved in the case, in Chaffee County, CBI and FBI and other agencies. They did 135 search warrants. 400 people they interviewed in multiple states, as they said, and over 1,400 tips. So that was interesting. They said in April they presented all this stuff to the DA's office, all info and evidence. The DA reviewed it and solidified the decision to move forward, is what they said. So very interesting. I think from a lot of people's comments, there was some people saying, they were surprised, and some people saying they weren't surprised. And also, just a sigh of relief too. The only thing at this point is Suzanne has not been found. So, bittersweet, right? Now, one thing I want to bring up too, because I was curious about this, for some of you who don't know, and those of you who do, I've been working on the Gannon Stout case for the last year. And I know she's from Colorado Springs, and the death penalty is on the table for her. They're not saying they are doing it, but it is on the table. They have abolished the death penalty as of July of 2020. So anything that occurred before that technically can still be on the table. So I was thinking about that today, and I just wanted to bring that up because it's been on my mind. And I had just dealt with this with Letitia's case. So, and just so you know too, if you haven't seen it, or if you're new and you're just catching in here and haven't seen me before, I do have a playlist. I have 2 playlists on Suzanne Morphew. I've done several videos, and I also have a playlist on Barry Morphew and connecting the dots. So I've talked about his theories. I talked about his discrepancies. I've talked about what he says as opposed to what actually happened, or I guess just connecting the dots to the timeline. So very, very important. So I think you'd be interested in it, especially if you're watching now and you're tuning in, since it's regarding Barry Morphew and obviously Suzanne Morphew. So get that out there to you guys and let you know. Shelby says Barry isn't eating prime rib tonight. Yeah, he's not barbecuing on his barbecue, is he? Thank you, Shelby. And thank you, Brent. So it's been a long time coming, so to speak. For us, it seems like a long time, but I know the authorities in the background have been busting their butts. And so interesting. Now, Suzanne's sister, Melinda, was talking to Lauren Scharf, and Lauren Scharf has been covering the case for the whole year as well, pretty much, and she's been following this case very closely. And she had interviewed her and asked a few questions, and in it, Melinda says that she feels relief regarding Barry, but she also feels like, she still loves him, and he did a terrible thing. And Barry's been in their lives for like 30 years. So I'm sure it's very conflicting, and it's very hard to deal with, right? Because you're dealing with the loss of your loved one, and then you're also dealing, I guess, with double, another loved one did something to your loved one. And also, you have that feeling. Yeah, you just have that feeling for them, and it's a crapshoot, right? There's just so many different feelings, I'm sure, that's going through them. So very sad. Do you think evidence will be revealed at this hearing? Tomorrow, no. Basically, what is going to happen is Barry's going to go in front of a judge tomorrow, and he's going to say, he's going to plead guilty or not guilty. I think we know. Well, you guys let me know in the chat what you think what he's going to say tomorrow. He did lawyer up right away. Tomorrow he just goes in front of a judge and pleads, guilty or not guilty, and then we go from there. So this is just the beginning. Obviously, I was hoping that somehow they would find where Suzanne is, but the week's not over yet, right? There's things that are happening in the backgrounds right now. So. And there's no bond. That's what I saw as well. So lawyer's probably going to ask, perhaps, is my guess, that they'll go in front and say, a bond reduction. But I'm not too sure. I guess we'll see tomorrow morning. Yeah, you guys are saying he will say not guilty. There you go. How old are the daughters? They're 16, and I can't remember if she's 22, She's in her early 20s. Can we recap? Sure. So this morning at 9:15 a.m., Barry Morphew was arrested outside of Anytime Fitness in Poncha Springs. He's been arrested and charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. We're not quite sure what happened there, but it could be while he was being arrested or before. I'm not too sure. Perhaps it was just an add-on after, like, I'm not sure. I showed his booking photo on here, and his affidavit, his arrest affidavit is under seal. So we're not going to be able to see that. Again, he's getting charged on some pretty serious stuff without a body, right? And the DEA is quite confident, obviously, because she's the one who's talking about that today. And like, listen, I reviewed everything, and I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be doing that if I wasn't confident. So, let's see here. So that's where we're at. Thank you, Brianna. Bye, Bear. Yeah, this has been a while. I got to be honest, I was worried. I thought, how is this guy going to get away with this? This is my opinion. Obviously, I've been working lots on videos for the last year, and everywhere you look, it kind of leads back. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the past year, because there's been several things, right? I mean, if we go back to right when Suzanne was missing, we're almost at a year. So on Monday, May 10th, will be a year since she was reported missing. And she would have had her 50th birthday last week. We're kind of in between that, both spots that this has happened with Barry. So, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the past years. So Debbie says, hard work pays off. Way to go, everyone involved in the final arrest and Barry Morphew. Yeah, imagine all the work put into that, and you have to be, a lot of things have to be pretty solid in order to do that. So. Linda Stanley is a tiger going after a bobcat and a bear, and his Blanky is no longer going to be with him. He can't take his bobcat everywhere he goes now, right? So there's that. So, I mean, this is a huge, huge thing. There you go. Hey, Real Gone Gonzo. We're here to the end. Trust the process. Hashtag Hope Rocks. Find Suzanne is absolutely paramount. Absolutely. And Real Gone Gonzo has been boots on the ground forever. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate the other YouTubers as well, and everybody who's involved in searching. We all have something to offer. We all have something to offer, and we can all use our gifts and whatever we can to help. So I love that people are coming together. That's how it should be. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. I reckon he may make a deal, give the location of Suzanne for a lesser sentence, not for the peace of mind of the family, though, just for himself. Thank you so much. I hope he would give that the location. I just feel like, yeah, it wouldn't be without, this is my opinion, it wouldn't be without something in return. I just feel like he's very headstrong. And I doubt he would just, give anything up. I think he's going to fight it to the bitter end. So let's talk about this in the last year. Okay, so she went missing last year. She was reported missing on Mother's Day. We're not quite sure exactly when she went missing. However, I had talked about it, and we'll address this, and you'll see this in my videos. There was a fire that happened 6 days before Suzanne was reported missing. And that was, if you'll see some of my videos, you'll see the triangle I talk about. And that's where Barry was giving us locations. So I took that and he called it a triangle, I believe, too. And I took the coordinates and started diving into the triangle. And just outside of the triangle, where he was in a video with Tyson Draper, and that video is and was an absolute gift. And Tyson went and recorded him, right? That was in June, I believe it was. And in it, Barry kept saying, don't look, don't search here because this has already been done. And that he was referring to the hill. And then I found out that that hill was actually on fire 6 days before, which was very odd. And it was a huge fire, but no one would talk about the fire. And I had found out that Barry was, in fact, he was a volunteer firefighter, and he was, in fact, at this fire. So it got my wheels turning because I thought, how the heck did this fire start? And I found out that this fire started on the CAD report. It said it started, it was human caused. And then it was changed to a branch fell on a power line, which is very bizarre given what I was looking at with the map. So a lot of people have asked me about this fire. What do you mean, Linda? And so there could be a lot of things. I mean, this is just me, snooping around in the fire. How this happened on the Monday? What happened? How was it caused? And so it really was very bizarre that it was so close to the home. And then I found out I was just on the interview room with Chris McDonough on the weekend. He did an excellent video on Barry, where he grew up and where Suzanne grew up, and a little bit of their background. And then we had a chit chat after. But one of the things before I got on there, I had seen from one of his previous videos was about this bike, which we've talked about the bike for all year, right? And how we don't believe that Suzanne ever was on a bike ride. But what I didn't know was there was 2 bikes, and one of them was just for parts. I thought they were talking about the same bike or something. I never knew there was 2 bikes, which made it very, very interesting because it was also around that week before. So that got my wheels turning, and I thought, is there insurance? Like maybe the house burns down. What's going on, right? So if you're wondering about that, but I do highly recommend going and seeing my playlist on Barry Morphew. I know I have a ton of videos on the playlists, and I'm just going to get that for you. Like 34. And then I have 10 in just the Barry one. And I'm just going to give it to you guys here just so you have it handy. And that way, if you want to go and see my work for the last year and my points of view, then, by all means, go check that out. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll back here before we keep talking about that year, because there's a lot to talk about, isn't there, to go back on. Iva Problem says, fantastic coverage, Linda. Well done. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. I see everybody coming in here, and welcome. We're talking about Barry Morphew. Hi, MH. Thank you. Could we request for Letitia to represent Barry? Well, she's 100% confident that she can. Maybe it'll be Eduardo Omeletto. If you haven't seen that, you guys go check out Gannon Stokes' case, case that I'm very passionate about. And I want justice for Gannon too. So now I'm reading some of these. I see you guys have some super chats, so thank you so much. Interlocution says, great coverage as always. Thank you for all you do, Linda. Thank you. For some reason, it's not popping up here, so I'm going to read it. Stevie M says, thanks for all your hard work on the case, Linda. I've been a huge fan of yours as far back as your infamous basic geometrical shape jerk comment. I do get that comment. Thank you. People want a mug like that. And so I blame it on my sister. She told me that saying, and it got me in trouble. So, okay, so let's keep going on this. So that's what happened on Monday, May 4th, was this fire. And then during that week, we hear about, if Sheriff Speasy said if there's any video, in the neighborhood, they want to see it. And we also heard about cameras not working around the property. And then we have the day before, and I'll just go through this because it, when you review it a year later, you go, oh yeah, I forgot about that, on Saturday, May 9th, just one day before Suzanne was reported missing, that's when Morgan said Morgan Gentile, who worked with Barry, she said Barry picked her up and they went to the riverfront property. And Barry wanted her to rake and level out the beach. And she planned to be there all day, but only worked there till 11 o'clock. And she said Barry had mentioned that he had to go and make the wife happy and do some hiking and biking. And I had wondered if he actually did that afternoon, went hiking or biking, but we don't know much about that. Morgan stated that she later heard he was out shopping in town all day. And she did say that Barry seemed stressed and that he was acting weird that day. So that was the day before, on that Saturday. And she did say, Barry was instructing her to clean up the area and rake it out. And she said, no, he said it needs to be flat, 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 and acting really weird. So these are some things, interesting things when we go back, right, and see it. And it says, okay, so then basically Barry's acting odd and seems stressed. And Morgan expected to work all day, except she only worked until 11 a.m. And then Barry said he had to go make the wife happy and then go do some hiking and biking, right? So that was kind of the last thing on the Saturday. And then that later afternoon, Suzanne was texting a friend back and forth about that one of the girls' kids, or the girlfriend's kids' upcoming wedding. And then that evening, by midnight, Suzanne's Facebook account starts friend requesting a bunch of men Andy Mormon's age, and Andy is Suzanne's brother. And this is a quote from Andy. He says, and then later that night, oddly enough, my sister friended a whole bunch of people on Facebook that are my age that I went to school with. That was completely strange or different from what she would normally do. So I honestly believe somebody else was manipulating her Facebook on Saturday. Okay, so and then I talked about in my videos about this friending spree being important. Now, at this point, it's the night before, right? And we have a couple theories. I have a couple theories of what happened. You can check that out on my videos. But that week coming up after Suzanne goes missing, his first theory is, there must have been a cat that got her, right? And then a couple days after that, he changes that. That is more like, okay, no, it might have been an abduction, and then changed that theory. So he's had a few theories, but Sheriff Speasy right away said, listen, there's no animal. And even Andy Mormon came out and he said, there's no animal. It can't have, it couldn't have happened, Barry. Like, stop it. That's not what it is. And that's when he changed it, and he started going, looking at Poncha Market. He went to Poncha Market and he looked in the garbage, and he also gave the manager a note that day saying, hey, my wife is missing, but he said, here's what to look for. And he just gave the baby blue bike helmet and, oh my gosh, what else did he say on there? Bike clothing. No mention of what Suzanne actually looks like, her height, her weight, her eye color, her hair color, nothing, just those two things on there. So there's some weird things, weird things. Kristen Allen says, the victim shaming of his daughters is awful. Weren't they 16 and 19 when she went missing? To say they didn't search her or were even in on it is sad. Thank you, Kristen. 16 and 22, I believe, very young. Now, you guys got to remember, too, in this kind of dynamic, and this is just my point of view and my opinion, it could be very volatile, right? Especially if Barry was a controlling individual, which I believe he was and is. Perhaps they know not to say anything, meaning, or they're going to get it themselves. You know what I mean? Like, either whatever that looks like. That's just my own opinion. So I'm sure there's a good reason. I don't know the reason. I can't speak for them, but I know a lot of people are upset that they haven't said anything. But again, maybe they were fearful. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe one day we'll find out. at any rate, they've now lost 2 parents. And I'm sure it's a confusing time as well. So let's continue on, and we'll talk about some more. Morris 17 says, I bought the Let's Get Into It shirt. I was so excited when I received it in the mail yesterday. Awesome. I'm glad. That's great. I'd love to see a picture of that. Okay, so Saturday night was the friending, and then Sunday nobody really actually saw her on her bicycle. And then, of course, we even had heard, remember an older neighbor down at the riverfront property had heard something in the middle of the night, like machinery going on. It's important to check those videos out too that I have. Let's see what else. I'm just zipping through here. And then Sunday, of course, he went to Broomfield, and Barry had discrepancies in just what he was saying as well, as to the time he was leaving, if he saw Suzanne before he left the house, or if he talked to her before he left the house, because he did say he saw her, but it was, there was discrepancies there. And then, of course, Broomfield, that job that he went to, that really, it was like, well, what do you mean you went to a job Sunday? It was kind of spur of the moment, and he was rambling down the road. And then Morgan and Jeff came there. There's all kinds of stuff, right? We saw the 25-second video. That was a week later. And let me just see here. It's just crazy. I talked about Poncha Market. And then we also have in June, which is not too far after this happened, was when Tyson actually interviewed him. And that at that same time as well, Barry went to Gene, Suzanne's dad, and was asking to sign some papers. So that was quick. That was within 3 weeks. And then fast forward, we have Barry selling his house their house and the property, or the land, I guess. Let me just see. Okay, this is important. I want to talk about this. I just got to find out the date. Okay, on May 19th, would only be 2 days, I believe, after Barry puts out his 25-second video for his wife that he's been married to for 26 years. The house was cordoned off for 11 days, and this is very significant. And I'll read you something from a crime scene analyst that was interviewed. Her name is Cheryl McCullum. And she said, if I have a crime scene that I cordoned off for 11 days, I found something substantial. I'm going to use luminol. I'm going to create what I think I have found. I'm going to put strings up. I'm doing day and night photography. I'm listing everything. I'm going to use a 360 camera. I'm going to do everything I can to show what I believe occurred in the house. This is long past collected evidence. This is recreating a crime scene. And that was said way back when, last spring. So they did two search warrants on the house. So that would have been about a week and a half before Barry actually filed a petition for guardianship of Suzanne. So there's some very interesting things that have taken place. Now that we look back, right, we can start to see a few more things. Tess McLean says, thank you for always caring for the victims and for the info snacks. I was thinking that undisclosed location Chris mentioned in your stream was Salida. Linda, you have a beautiful heart. Cheers. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tess. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You have that tug at your heart because you have justice is happening for Suzanne, and then you feel sad because what that means about Suzanne and also the families, and so sad that that means that Suzanne's husband that she's been with since she was so young, uh, you know, did that to her or did something to her. And just so sad. Like, and she's still not found. And you'd think he would do, well, no, he's not going to do the right thing, but you know what I mean. You would want him to do the right thing. Melly Doe, haven't seen you in a long time. Happy she finally has a voice. May not be as fast as we wanted, but none of us let her voice die out. Absolutely. I agree. Thank you. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's hard to comprehend. Absolutely. So that was that. I mean, things were happening quite quickly in some aspects, and then being frustrated. We saw that big, huge search happen thanks to Andy Mormon in September, and Profiling Evil was running that, and in the background, remember they had some really cool maps, and people were having apps to follow their steps of where they searched. It was incredible. But one thing we didn't see there is we didn't see Barry's search. And I had said this the other night. You have such a contrast. You have two people. You have Barry Morphew and you have Andy Mormon. And that's Andy's sister is Suzanne and Barry's wife is Suzanne. And they've known each other for 30 years, right? I mean, you have two people, and Andy, so passionate about his sister. He loves his baby sister and so passionate. And I had said this the other day, Andy's more of a reserved person, but yet you see him, it doesn't matter. He's doing what it takes, right, to find his sister. And he's going out there and he's doing what needs to get done. And he just said, I'm not going to stop. And then you see on the flip side, it's such a huge contrast. This is what brings it it makes you see the contrast where you have somebody like Barry who would have a lot of skills to bring to the table to find his wife. A lot. He's a hunter. He's an expert tracker, according to the family. He is an athlete, and he's not dumb. Okay, so he has skills, meaning the tracking and all that. But what does he do? He does not participate in the search. Why? Like, he doesn't seem like the guy that would really care too much about what people think in that aspect. Like, just get out there and do it, right? But we've seen complete opposite. His 25-second video from the get-go is like 25 seconds, right? And it didn't seem right. People knew right away. Algo says, when was that statement exactly? It's a crime about the house being cordoned for weeks. That was from Cheryl McCullum. That was from an interview on Nancy Grace. So it would have been summertime, I would believe, or just after this. So the house was started on May 19th. I would think it was June. But look that up and you'll be able to find it. That's her exact quote. Yes, they said 135 search warrants on there. Now let me just get back here. I see a couple things pop up I don't want to miss. Billy says, any info you have or think you may have, please contact the district attorney office. Yes, absolutely. Love you, Linda. Thank you so much. Love you too, Billy. Thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe now people are going to start talking, right? Because they're not afraid now that Barry's in there, but we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Cheated No More says, yes, Linda, so sad, and it is a ripple case. People have known Suzanne Barry since high school. Yeah, it's very sad. And we also talked too about Suzanne and Barry growing up in this small town, and then they leave it. and leaving best friends and really close friends and family. That's a lot. And it was said that Suzanne didn't want to go. So that's even more, right? To have to leave somewhere and go somewhere, and you're kind of segregated, and Barry used to go off in hunting trips and whatever, it's hard. Anna says, here's to Larry Molete being the next one to be arrested so there's justice for Maya. Yes, thank you. Yes. Absolutely agree. Actions speak louder than words. We saw some weird things. And, we hear about the new girlfriend, or it's maybe not really new. I don't know if they're still together now. Oh, well, maybe not now, but you know what I mean. Just some strange things throughout the year, and wanting to sell so fast, and like put his past behind him so quickly. But we also got to remember that Barry's never really been without a woman. He's always had a woman, even before Suzanne, from my understanding, is he's always had a girl on his arm. So I don't think he's ever been alone either. Joe Wiley says, I wonder if one of his buddies rolled on him. It'd be really interesting. Unfortunately, we can't see the arrest affidavit. It's under seal, so we're not going to be able to see that, but it's so interesting to see what they've put together. Hey, Linda, Mark Means is the only attorney I'd like to see besides Dr. Letitia, I think. Oh, that's funny. Thank you. Okay, so I'm so glad you guys are joining me. If you're just joining me, we're talking about Barry Morphew and his arrest today, and the past year, really talking about these little things that's popped up. Lori Ludwig says, happy Mother's Day to Suzanne. Yeah, man, such interesting timing, isn't it? It's been, we're in between Suzanne's birthday and Mother's Day. It's very interesting. Okay, now forgive me if I'm looking for your super chats, and again, sometimes they just pop weird, so I'm going to do my best to find them. I wonder if this arrest is what Nate Eaton was all jazzed up about yesterday. He was reporting from Colorado. Nate Eaton was? I have not seen that. That's interesting. I'll have to check. Thanks for that little info snack. Stevie M says, I also love the extreme cosmic karma-ish part of this all going down to Bear for this Mother's Day. It's like Suzanne speaking up for herself somewhere not so far away. #justice. I hope she is found. I hope. Maybe things are coming quickly this week and they can start putting more pieces together. A law says that if a body's location is not given up, there's no probation. Okay. Minneapolis says, I think he dug a hole and used a boulder big rock. Bobcat was used to dig the hole and move the rock. She's somewhere behind that house. So my feeling in the beginning, or from the beginning, what had to do with that triangle area. I think there's a reason, again, in my opinion, why he put up security cameras behind the house. Interestingly, it was, on the trail. Remember that? This was the same time around the search in September. He put these cameras up, and I just find it really weird. I think he's watching something, but that's, again, my opinion. You guys can let me know in there. But almost 3,000 in chat. Welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and chit-chatting about Barry. Very, very big day for this case, and something that I think a lot of people feared wasn't going to happen. So this is a huge thing. 9:15 a.m. Barry Morphew was arrested and charged. He was actually arrested outside of Anytime Fitness in Poncha Springs and charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempt to influence a public servant. So tonight we've been talking about his arrest, talking about the 11-day they cordoned off his house for 11 days and had 2 search warrants. I believe they got for that. And they also said how many? Over 135 search warrants to date. And and it's been over 400 people interviewed. So I know Lauren Sharf was talking earlier tonight. She went to go ask somebody or do an interview with somebody, and they said she wasn't available. And I believe she was inferring Barry's girlfriend. So I don't know if they're still together up until this morning or what, but it's just strange. And two, let's just talk about this for a second too, because something popped in my head about it being very awkward. Some of the things he's done is, he's, barbecuing like not a care in the world. There's just some weird things. His behavior has been weird, and a lot of us have questioned it. A lot of us have been, hoping that he was innocent. A lot of people are very vocal with me with my videos. They were quite upset at that, but I saw what I saw, and that's, that I just show what I show and what I see. So here we are. And tomorrow morning at 10:30, he's going to be in front of a judge, and he's going to say whether, he's guilty or not guilty, and he'll have his lawyer present beside him, and we'll see. Hey, hello. Hi, Dylan. Nice to see you. Awesome job again on your video, your recent video that you guys did. It's nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Miller Nature says Linda's the best. I'm so happy that Suzanne is going to bring Barry his karma. Well, let's hope that somehow they're going to find her. That would be even better. The family will no longer be in limbo, because limbo is hell, as I usually say. And they've been in limbo about Barry. They've been in limbo about Suzanne. Now this piece is, next step closer to justice. But now we also have to have Suzanne come home. So yeah, so thank you. I love the little the bear at the end. I had said today that Barry's not going to be having his blanket bobcat to, tote around. So it's really sad too, after 25, 26, 27 years. Yeah, their anniversary is August. And then just have somebody just move on with your life and sell the house and do something terrible, and then, tamper with evidence and the first degree murder. And it's terrible. It really is terrible. So thank you, Debbie. Thanks for the super sticker. And Rita says, interested to see if the girls show up for his court appearance, and are they to support him or find out more info on his charges? I don't know. It's a very good question. I'm not sure if they're going to be there or not. I guess we'll see. Yeah. And so, and maybe they're not done yet. I don't know. Maybe there's more people that know, or maybe some people will finally go, okay, now I don't have to worry about him anymore. Maybe they were scared of him, and maybe now they can come forward. And somebody knows something, right? And I'm sure people who have known Barry all their life too, it might be very odd. So yeah, and let's put up a picture for a second. Just look at her. So sweet, so happy, like just so sweet. Everybody who talks about her, that knows her, she's just the light of everybody's life. And even her sister, just everybody had just wonderful things to say about her. So sweet. Didn't get into altercations with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just a sweet, sweet woman. And here we are. Here we are a year later, and just knowing that her husband, somebody that she loves and loved, did that to her after how much they've shared together, 2 children together, a marriage. You got to wonder what was happening behind closed doors to get to this point. And he moved her out there, and she didn't want to, and he moved her out there and completely isolated in a small town. Now they're used to a small town because they lived in one and grew up in one, so they probably like that aspect of it, but that's tough. It's really tough. And it's just really sad. Okay, so let's go back here. Navy Vet says, well, tomorrow, if Barry is denied bail and remains behind bars, it will make a very good birthday gift for me. Well, happy birthday. I would gladly give to Suzanne for justice. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see tomorrow what goes down. And Billy, I see yours. You say, for those who think that you can't be charged without a body, sorry, you are wrong. Correct. It's harder, but it can be done, and it has been. Now we just got to find Suzanne. It'll be even better. Brandy Bradford says, thank you for all your do for not just this case, but so many others. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, there's going to be many more. Unfortunately, there's many more, right? But it's important. I wish there was more of me to cover these cases. I get so involved and take things apart, as you know, and try and dig and connect the dots that I can somehow, in some way, help not figure it out, but help contribute to these cases and make a difference, even if it's just to get out to people who are watching and just understand what's happening in our world and that kind of thing. So I get passionate about the cases for sure. There's your comment, Billy. Thank you. Okay, just scrolling here. Beth, aka Bagel Blarney, says she has such a sweet disposition. It's so sad she beat cancer twice and this happens. Love your channel, Linda. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Obviously, I wouldn't have my channel if it wasn't for you. And so I really do appreciate you and appreciate you watching. And if you haven't checked out my videos on Barry Morphew and on Suzanne, I have 2 playlists. One is in its entirety with everything, including live streams. And then the other one, I have about 10 videos on Barry, more on his theories, his timeline, and also the triangle theory, which is very, very important. Interestingly, before we knew, I guess a long time ago, I did the triangle theory. And then after the search, we had found out that the cadaver dogs actually hit on scents in the triangle. So it's very interesting how it's all played out. But do watch it if you can, or watch it again, even to remind you of things that have happened that maybe you forgot about. Happy Little Accident says, oh, I love your Bob Ross picture. Stop for that. Happy little tree, little titanium white. I used to watch that all the time. I'm so curious to know who Barry tried to bribe. Yeah, I want to know what the circumstance is around that. Was that before and then he got arrested, or did he say something as he got arrested? That I would like to know. So yeah, find Suzanne, absolutely. And yes, I'm just seeing Maui Girl. Thank you so much. If you do want to join my crime ring, that is a membership, and of all tiers. And so you're welcome to join. And that's, if you're seeing all the little greens show up here on my screen, it's becoming a member. So, all right. What else, you guys? Explain the triangle theory. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be a quick version, but basically from the interview that Tyson Draper gave to Barry, I guess I shouldn't really say interview, but he recorded him like an interview. Barry had talked about areas where he didn't want anybody searched because it was, that's been searched. It's been like covered. I can't remember exact words now that he said, but basically he gave a triangle area where not to search because he says he's covered that. And it turns out his house was in that triangle, but he did push that like crazy. So I took the points, and that's the triangle theory, and then I talked about his timeline. It's my belief that he went and picked up the bobcat at his work site and brought it back and did something with Suzanne with the bobcat. And so later, basically, we've heard about how the cadavers hit on scent in the triangle. So definitely do see that video, and I did put the link there for the playlist, and you guys can check it out and see. There's some really neat things too that pop up. So it's all starting to piece together, and that's where I found that fire as well that happened, that people just want to be very, very hush-hush about it. But I did find out that there was quite a substantial fire, and it just so happened to be 6 days before Suzanne went missing. And I had started to wonder, like, was this intentional, or was this just like, what happened here, right? So her birthday was April 30th, I believe. Caroline says, I'm so heartbroken getting the confirmation that she's not alive and her husband did it. Yeah, how could he do that? I think we're all asking why, aren't we? Yeah, in the beginning of tonight, I had mentioned how it's bittersweet, right? We know that he got arrested, and in some ways it's like, yes. And then you go, oh, because of what it means. And in so many ways, what it means that Suzanne's not coming home, and confirms that. And they have enough evidence to point to that. And the fact that her husband did that to her, whatever that is, and that's sad. And then, 2 girls are without either of their parents now. That's sad. So there's so many different things, right? But at the end of the day, you can't get away with murder. You can try, but you can't. And I'm hoping in the future, people start wising up to be, like, you just can't get away with this anymore, with DNA, with YouTubers, with, all of that. I've said that before. This is almost like YouTubers are starting to bridge a gap. Maybe that's the wrong terminology, but it's almost like, because some people are more comfortable, maybe talking with YouTubers, or, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's good for both sides, because the authorities can look and see what's going on here. And also, like I said, you have people like Gonzo with boots on the ground, and Tyson with the video, and I believe I know he was some boots on the ground. I'm not too sure now, but he was. And then you have, Profiling Evil and The Interview Room, and everybody's coming from different sides to put some pressure. And for me, I connect dots, and I like timelines, and so we all can do our little bits. I mean, you guys who are watching, and people who are watching from Salida that may know, it's okay now. Like, go and say something if you can, and if you know something. So the future is going to be different this way. And look at DNA. You have like cases like the Kristen Smart case, where that Flores guy, Paul Flores, after 25 years, has been arrested. So it's starting to be not if, it's just when. And thankfully, there's not a 25-year wait anymore. And, it's taken 1 year, but it's better than, 25 years or 2 years even. So it's just, it's sad. It's really sad. Hey, how are you, Sergeant Melinda? Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I think it's been a little while. Nice to see you. Welcome. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. Okay. Let's see. Texas Gal says, thanks for all you do and the time tonight to go over this. Much love. Absolutely. I wanted to talk to you guys about it. I know you have a lot to say about it, and then go through the year, because I think it's important, kind of just bring that. So just going through here. Super chats. Leave our sweet Linda alone. She does awesome work and we are thankful for her. Okay, I'm not too sure what that's about, but I don't know. Maybe somebody was saying something. Yeah, there's some people who got pretty riled up in my Barry videos in the beginning, but maybe they won't be so riled up anymore. They were pretty nasty about it. All right, so and so mods, if you feel like you need to handle anything, that's all good. I'm not too sure what's going on, but that's the beauty of mods. Thank you, moderators. Tonight is probably a little bit tough. I know there's over 3,000 people in here tonight, so I do now. It gets a little bit crazy. So, yeah, and then I was also talking earlier tonight about this death penalty in Colorado. I know that they abolished it in effective July 1st, I believe it is, of 2020. But that's the thing. You go back, because if the crime was done before July 1st, that means you can still be eligible for the death penalty. But it's up to the DA. So I know in Letitia Stouck and the Gannon Stouck case, I know Letitia, it's possible that she could get the death penalty. And so I was thinking about that today and double checked on the dates. And of course, because it's May before July, it could be on the table. I just don't know what the idea or what the decision would be on that. So that's going to be very interesting. And yes, it's a sealed affidavit as well. Yes. Suzanne's birthday, I believe, is April 30th. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the 30th. And then today's arrest day. And then we have Mother's Day coming up. Oh, I did hit the chats to slow it down. Is it still crazy? So you guys are cute. Everybody's saying thumbs up. So if you would like to thumbs up the video, you can give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so. I do videos all the time. And I had just done a video on the Ray Rivera case. It's a full video. And I'm intrigued by that case. It was a man who was found deceased through a hole in the roof at the Belvedere Hotel. And I'm really, really nerdy when it comes to cracking code and stuff. I like doing this kind of stuff and connecting dots. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'll be tackling the notes. So do check out my channel. I do have different cases that I cover. some popular ones, so to speak, that a lot of people know about, and some that don't. And I cover some Canadian cases, and people are still missing. One of them that is near and dear to my heart as well right now is Justin Evans. I say right now because he's still missing right now. And he's a Canadian boy who's been missing. He's 22 years old, been missing since December. So there's a lot of different types of cases that I cover, and going to be different ones coming up as well. I'm going to be, spreading my wings, so to speak, and doing some things. So, yes, I agree. The cops deserve respect for their work on this case. Absolutely agree. There's been a lot behind the scenes, a lot. And boom, here we are. So, are all affidavits sealed? No, but in this case it is. So we'll see what that brings. I'm sure they have to do it for a reason, right? And I'm sure they want to get to Suzanne too, so I'm sure. So unfortunately, we can't see it, but fortunately as well, we can't see it, if that makes sense. Linda, what is your personal opinion as to why Barry murdered Suzanne? Your channel all the way from Britain. Oh, nice. Okay. My opinion as to why, I think there's two things. One of them, I feel like something just happened. Something happened. They had an altercation of some sort. Barry got angry, didn't have control of, whatever was going on. Maybe Suzanne didn't agree with something. Who knows? And maybe it happened, in a heat of passion. The other thing, though, I wonder, because of the things that happened the week before, I start questioning if it was, something that just happened last minute. So I know it's hard. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. We can't really explain, like, why the heck would he do that? But I think for him, it was maybe a control thing. Something got out of control and he got angry. But I do question the week before if there was any planning. And maybe not that, but something happened. And then he got angry. Okay, you guys are still with the chat. Let me just see if I can go in and slow it any more down. Because it's probably getting out of hand. But I have 3,000 people here tonight, so I appreciate you taking out time of your night to come, and some people it's the morning, to come and chit chat. Let's just see. I'm going to go in here for a sec, and I'll slow it down a little bit more, and hopefully it'll be helpful for the mods too. They're doing an awesome job. Give a thumbs up for the mods as well. Okay, there we go. Let's try if that helps a bit. So yeah, it's a small town. They had to be real quiet to keep the integrity of the case. Imagine that. It's so small. Everybody knows pretty much everybody. So yeah, the premeditation, it's also, but how far ahead, right? It could be, you're right, murder one is premeditated, but it could be how long, right? If you decide and plan it from that morning, it's the same really as the week before, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't know who his attorney is as of this moment, not yet. I think tomorrow morning we obviously will know. That's at 10:30 a.m. And I'll be trying to find out all that information. So, yeah, it can be a second. There we go, algo. Oh, yeah. Imagine he hired Scott Reich. Yeah, no, 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 no. Don't do that. I don't know if it's going to be live streamed tomorrow morning. It's public, so it should be available to the public. I'd have to find out tonight links, how we can watch that. And we'll go from there. Morris17 says, I sent you an email with some possible info about the boys. In a case, I'd like you to peek at if you can, please. Hope you got it. Yeah, today has been crazy with emails popping up, so I will look for that. It might take me a day or so. It's just been one after another. So there is a lot of comments in here. I'm so glad you guys can join me tonight. So what else did I have to say, you guys? Basically the year. I'm sure Lauren's going to have some updates as well. Lauren Scharf. She did show a little clip of a house, basically, that she was going to interview this person, but they said she was unavailable. So that was interesting. And for those of you, again, who haven't seen, I did a comparison earlier tonight just to show you Barry a year ago and Barry now. Let me see if I could just take that off so you guys can see. And you can see a difference in his face. He's lost quite a bit of weight, but I know he's been hitting the gym pretty hard. So, and usually, Barry kind of liked to do the bodybuilding, right? And he had usually lean up in the summer, and you find a new girlfriend and I guess you lean up. So this, I don't think, in my opinion, is a stress thing. I think he's leaning up for the summer, to get the, like I said earlier, sun's out, guns out. So I think he's kind of like that. And yeah, I know he had some issues too, in one of the gyms for hitting on women or something like that. I heard it was just something I heard. Let me just get this off here. But yeah, he's more into bodybuilding. I think he was just leaning out for the summer. I don't think it was a stress type thing, in my opinion. He's just kind of like one of those guys who bodybuilds and then leans up, probably having lean chicken and veggies and whatever. Penguin says, Barry bought the junk bike a week before he was planning it. Yeah, I just found out about the other bike. I thought there was just one bike. I didn't know there was two bikes, which is crazy. And around the time that he bought this junk bike, if it was exactly a week before, is the same time as this fire that happened right in the neighborhood. It's like right down the block. In fact, actually, let me just show you guys. I have the triangle on here. Let me show you. Okay. Here is the triangle. Okay. So let me just, I'll explain some of it. Just let me just take this here. Okay. Oops. All right. So you can see in that yellow triangle, that's where he basically talked about, and it could be just a little bit below that on the bottom part, extended. You can see where that black spot is, that's his home. That's Suzanne and Barry's home. And then you see where the cadaver hit. And then you go all around to that triangle in the upper left corner. That's where the bike was found. And the article that found was approximately in that area, not exact. Now, I have at the very top left that MM207, that's mile marker 207. From where that dot is all the way down to Fusis Dam, which is below there, just, south, that's all fire area and bigger than that. And then you'll see just to the right of that mile marker 207, you'll see two sets of power lines that I have written. Those are the power lines that go all the way down again, just basically southwest, right? To follow those lines if you followed them. But yeah, so that's the triangle pretty much. You'll see where Fusis Dam is on the left, in the middle of the screen to the left. Or I should say halfway down, it says men's clothing, and that's from Barry saying, yeah, we found men's clothing at Fusis, at the lake, right? So that's pretty much it. And on the right-hand side of the triangle is the mobile, what do you call it? Like the campground. It's a campground. So it's very interesting. Once we see that, and my theory is, he picked up the bobcat and he had to go, do something. Also, with that fire would bring warmer ground, and it wasn't warm that week in Salida. In fact, it was below freezing. So you'd have a harder ground. However, you'd have a warmer ground with the fire, right? And you would also have, the higher you go in elevation, the worse it's going to get, because you're in Colorado and you're in the mountains, and it's very similar. Colorado has a very similar climate to Canada, and the area that I'm from, well, I guess a little more west, where I grew up, is in British Columbia, is more like Colorado, but Canada is very similar. And so I had been working on that forever, in that triangle and the fire and etc. So I don't know what happened the week before, but there's some strange happenings for sure. Yes. This is starting to feel like justice is finally about to begin. Yes. So, yes, no bond. That's correct. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Chris and Mike said in their opinion, they can't leave the house as far as where the crime took place. That's just it. And right from the beginning, there was discrepancies. Remember, too, I haven't mentioned this tonight, Barry even admitted that he made a mistake and said that he did a mechanical thing to his bobcat, and he had forgotten, or he just said, I made a mistake, I made an error, and I forgot to say that I did a mechanical thing to my bobcat. So right from the beginning, there was discrepancies. Why are you lying? Why are you putting out, a 25-second video? That's so strange. And then, changing your theories. Now, people change theories. I get that. But it was strange behavior, like you're going into a garbage can at a market and looking for your wife's bike helmet. Why would you do that? What led you there? And it has said there was an article found on the side of the road, but that was Barry's word, not the officer's words telling him. And so he used the word article. So I had said, wonder if it was an article of clothing or something. And I believe on Dr. Oz is when he was talking about the bike helmet was found on that part of the triangle. Now, interesting is, if you are being abducted and you're driving down the road, are you going to tell your victim to take their helmet off and throw it out the window? No, it's just really weird. And they said right off the bat, it's not an animal. Even Andy said, come on, Barry, no, it's not an animal. And he quickly changed. And then you see him change, doing this abduction theory, putting out, 100,000, and his friend matching the 100,000. And then he's making this 25-second video, which is crazy to me. Like it was like straight out of a movie. Um, and there was lying involved in that video. So very, very weird. Very weird. Jen Lo says, BC's on my bucket list. You got to go. So tomorrow will be very interesting at 10:30. I mean, it's not going to be, eye-opening, but we're going to see him in court and see what he has to say with his judge. He didn't say anything today. Just, in a way, it was like, it's too bad they couldn't find out, where Suzanne is, but I don't think they're going to find out. I think from him voluntarily, I should say. The house did not sell. The buyers backed out. Interesting. I did not know that. Yes, there was 400 interviews for the investigation, 135 search warrants so far. 400 people were interviewed and 1,400 tips. Now, I thought that 1,400 tips, I thought that was about the same last time, but the last time Sheriff Speasy was speaking, I believe, was January's the last update we got on the case. So, and I did hear the presser today, the press release, and I heard Lauren Scharf in the background, and she got to ask one question, and she even said, can we ask more, something to that effect, because she says, come on, we've only had one update all year. Wow, like it's just been crazy. And this DA Linda Stanley, I like this woman. It's good. I'll find out about the hearing. I did see, I know you can check the docket, but I will figure out where we can watch that. But everybody should be able to see that. It might even be on the actual judge's YouTube channel, but I got to figure that out still. If you guys know, I would love if you could share that with me just to make things easier. It's like, running around all day trying to figure stuff out, and this is not the only case I do. So it's been crazy. Yes, he supposedly has a new girlfriend, or she's been a girlfriend for a while. So, oh no, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Barry will do that. I don't think he'd do that, in my opinion. In my opinion. Linda says he put the reward so high that he knew he would never have to pay because he knew he was never going to be she was never going to be found. Yeah. I know. I think he knows exactly where she is. Well, obviously she does. He does, but it'll be interesting what the actual answer is, where she is. I would imagine being his girlfriend would be dangerous. Yeah, I'm wondering what she's thinking now. That'd be interesting. Let me see here. Buffy says Barry was about to flee, trailer out front of his house. I think he knew things were heating up. Glad they got him. And the hair was gray, now blonde. Sun does do that, changing his appearance. I think with the weight loss thing, like I said earlier, I think he's just leading up for the summer. It's just, something that bodybuilders do. You basically carb up in the winter. I used to compete in fitness years ago. So usually, winter, you get your little fluffy layer and you carb up and gain muscle mass. And then in summertime, you just lean up and, like I said, sun's out, guns out. But interesting about the trailer, I know obviously he was trying to sell off stuff. I found it odd that he would try and sell his land because it was upside down. He didn't make a profit on the land. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why wouldn't you just hold on to it until because land can always, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I've been up all day. You know what I'm saying. Gain in worth. Whew. Sometimes. DDD Shaughnessy says, I just found out that BM has a huge auger that can dig a hole 3 feet wide and about 4 feet deep in less than 30 minutes. Yeah, that's part of the Bobcat. You have attachments part of the Bobcat. And in one of my videos, I'll give you the playlist again. In one of my videos, I even have the commercial from Bobcat showing, like just showing the different thing, and it shows the attachments. It's a little shocking when you start to see it, but I don't know exactly all the attachments that Barry had or has, but you can see that they can be attached to that. So, and if he were to appreciate, there you go. Whew. I didn't even get into any wine, I swear. Yeah, so also I found out with the Bobcat, which was really interesting, is you can unhook it so it doesn't make any beeping sounds. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things. He's in the perfect area. Where his house is and where they lived was kind of the perfect area for him. He goes to get his Bobcat and he'd come back. I mean, the houses are spaced apart, and especially on the east side where the campground is, it was COVID, so there's nothing going on. So I just see it as the perfect storm for him. Unfortunately, it's hell for Suzanne to go through that. But I think for him, it was like just the perfect storm. It's so sad. It's so sad. And he's looking at her in her eyes, like I don't know. It's terrible. And Junie says you can rent attachments or borrow one from a friend. There we go. So, all right. Just scrolling through these comments for a minute. Kathleen says, mugshot, he looks wrung out. Garden Girl says, I really thought he would have gone to another country. Maybe he was going to. Chump Stuff says, who is in the frame next to the West boys? Right here? Yeah, that is Marshall Iwasa. He's still missing from Canada. He's been missing now for a year and a half. And he was in one city, and his vehicle was found 14-hour drive away, burnt in a weird service road up in the mountains a week later, maybe even 5 days later. So, and the steering column was missing. I also have that on my channel. Very, very mysterious, and still no sign of him, no video, no sightings, nothing. So that's one that I wish there was more information. It's just so weird. The truth will come out. We will all know soon enough. Whatever you do in the dark will eventually come to light. And isn't that true? Because it's coming. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's faster. but we're starting. And it just goes to show you, you can't get away with murder. You can't. And some people have, but sometimes, I mean, we're seeing this all the time now. 25 years, 35 years. I think it's 35 years that I saw of cases being solved through DNA now. It's incredible. Is there any link to become a channel member? Yes, one of my moderators will put that up for you. And I think it's youtube.com/itsAcrime/join, I think. If house was not sold, they can go and search all they want now. Yeah, we'll see. Miss T says, I'm still confused about the girls and where they were. They were gone that week, and it was said they were gone camping. Now, I haven't looked too much into that aspect of it, of where they exactly were. I know some others have, so I don't want to be wrong about that. But that they were gone. So thank you. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, please, if you haven't done so already. I cover all things true crime. I connect the dots and love anything coded, and just seek justice for those who can't seek it themselves, and give a voice, or try to give a voice to help those who are missing and killed. We have a lot of cases coming up in trials. So the 3 counts again is first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and this third one I can never remember, attempt to influence a public servant. And what is said this could be, it could be something before he was arrested. It could be something while he was being arrested and said something. So he got slapped with that charge. So I'm not too sure where or when that happened, or why, but hopefully we'll find that out. Barry could leave and go off the grid with his hunting skills. Yeah, that's the time he would be doing his hunting skills, because he sure wasn't helping with his tracking skills and the skills that he said he did have, and people said he had, and didn't help to find his wife. So nice to see you all hanging out tonight. So Marilyn says, no thumbs down on any YouTuber's video regarding arrest today. Interesting. Oh, I know, Vanessa. You know, it first started when I was just, these were all just missing people. And then, over time, little Evelyn here, she was killed by her mom, and we have JJ and Tylee also killed by, well, we have 3 people involved in that, including her mom involved. We have Suzanne. I mean, we have the little boys. I mean, the little boys are still missing. Marshall's still missing. Everyone on the bottom shelf is no longer with us. I have Heidi Broussard down here. You can't see it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a digital frame, I think, and then it can cycle. So, I don't disclude anybody, and I'll be adding more, but it's so sad. It's so sad. So Rochelle says Chris McDonough from the interview room had a message for Barry's girlfriend during one of his lives. It was epic. Awesome. I don't think I caught that. I did catch a couple of his lives today. The house has sold. The husband of the real estate agent who sold the house was on another channel. Thomas says, I can't wait for comment from Barry Morphew's friend, Super Vet, 450 tours of Iraq and Afghanistan. Remember? Yeah. And they covered the 200 square miles, or is it 400, of searches, which basically was crazy. It was like the whole state of Colorado and Kansas are part of it. So, yes, Justin's going to be added. We are now in Canada. We are in stricter lockdowns again. I'm going to be homeschooling again all of May, starting tomorrow or Friday. So it's very interesting times. So I will get, maybe I'll just Amazon. I'll get myself a digital. I'll get myself a digital frame, and then I'll start from there. So I do have new cases coming in as well. And I do have a lot still diving into the regular cases. I don't stop until they're found. Navy vet again, nice to see you. Yesterday in Hazard, Kentucky, there was a 3-year-old little girl who wandered away from her grandparents' house. Luckily, she was found safe today, more than 24 hours later. Wow. You know, there was a little 3-year-old boy, and I can't remember from where. You guys will probably remember, but he was missing for 3 days, and he was 3 as well. I think 3 days, 2 or 3 days. And they found him in the forest, and he was okay. He was just sleeping sleeping in the forest or whatever. And he was found okay. So it's nice to hear some happy news. Louisiana girl, do we know when the arrest affidavit will be released? It is sealed, so we're not going to be able to see that. Hi, Matt. Nice to see you. Letitia can rep him now. She's down a client. Oh, Letitia. She was in court today too. So she has new representation. So, but it's not now. Her preliminary hearing is not till August 5th and 6th. Carell says if drugs have been involved, appearances can really change. Yes, I know. I just know that he's been working out like crazy as well. So that's what I've been attributing it to. Could be other things too, but he loves to work out, and I can see him leaning up for the summer. This is kind of like a thing people do. Okay, so I don't think he will. I don't think he will. Tracy Marie, thank you so much. I am. I'm gonna take some time. Well, maybe that too, Perry Sue. Maybe that too. Isabel says, Barry pleaded, I'll do anything to find you, more like I'll do anything to get away with your murder. Yeah, he's not going to get away with it now, right? So Do you think he's getting in tip-top fighting shape for prison? Well, this is going to be an interesting thing now. I mean, now is going to be, you start the court process. Things take some time. I mean, look at Gannon Stauch. She's now going into August for her preliminary hearing, but she does some crazy shenanigans. I don't see Barry doing that. He'll do more like the lawyer shenanigan thing. But I don't see that happening, but it still takes time. So we'll see. Yes, Justin is still missing. I'm going to have a special guest on in the next week, so keep that in mind. And we're going to go from there in Justin's case. Definitely watch the replay. Okay. Well, that's cool. Nice. If he had a girlfriend, we might be surprised to hear evidence he planned this way in advance. I don't know if she knew about any of that stuff. That would be, I don't know. He can now spend a ton of money on attorney. Well, if his house sold, I guess. Justin is a young man who's been missing since December. He's 22 years old. He's from Canada. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good that he's coming home the way that we would want him to. But there are, he still needs to be found. And there are people that have shown some odd behavior and odd responses as to what happened with Justin. And there's discrepancies in timelines kind of all over the place. So I encourage you to go look at that as well in my playlist. His name's Justin Evans. And so I will be doing a live stream with a special guest in the next week, maybe sooner, maybe later, just depends. And we'll be talking about him and going through his case. Protecting the girlfriend who flipped could be why the warrant has been sealed. Oh, wouldn't you all love to know, me included, what was in that arrest affidavit? Hello, sassy Sandra. If they gave him a really high bond, some of his buddies will post it. Well, yeah, remember the 200,000, but no bond for him. But we'll see. I'm sure the lawyer is going to request something. I don't know. This is a victory for sweet Suzanne. Yeah, now we need to find her, right? Now she needs to be found. The DA said they got last minute information. For what I saw, I don't know if it was last minute, but could be. I remember them saying that they started in April to bring this to Linda Stanley. And they said, it was the whole year long and then just recent information, right? Yeah, you'd think that would be a deal breaker. Where did I read that? Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm losing where I am here. I do case suggestions, yes. You can email me at itsacrimeandashame@gmail.com. And then in the subject line, put case suggestion and then what the case suggestion is. If you have links or information, that would be very helpful as well. But I do them, yeah. Hello, all. I'm so glad that you guys can join me tonight. I think it's Wednesday on a Wednesday night. It's been a really big day, a really big day. There's my email. Thank you so much, Algo. And Kathleen says, such respectful comments, not this way everywhere. Yeah, I know. And that's one thing that I'm so very grateful for this community is everyone is so positive. We don't have to deal with many trolls or buttheads, basically. I'm just very thankful, such a great community. You guys are awesome. You guys are super smart. And it's just so nice to be around positive environment, even though the subject matter is not positive. But, we do have a good community. Yeah, it's really crazy. And today also, Letitia was in court. It's so funny because my hubby will ask me, he's like, okay, what's on your docket today? Well, I'm in court today. Really, I'm here looking on, online, being in court. So it's kind of funny, but it's been crazy. And I gotta say, when I first covered Suzanne's case and I started connecting the dots with Barry and just stating what I see, it was a little crazy. Like, people were coming. It was pretty crazy. So I just think about that whole year and all those comments and threats and, through the whole year. And then it's, well, here it is. Here's the day. So it's just, you just start reflecting and thinking about, man, what a year it's been and all these little things. And then you start thinking about Barry and his little isms and what he said and lied about and how things didn't add up and why did he go on Sunday and what did he do? You just really start thinking about that. So Olivia says, is this your favorite arrest or Chad and Lori? Whew. That's so hard to say. I don't know if I wouldn't say favorite. I think for Chad and Lori with the kids, I don't feel like anything's really done yet that way, like, because they haven't been charged with murder. So I feel like we're not even there yet in that. Yeah, they're sitting in jail, but they need to be charged. Whereas, this is a major charge for Barry, right? So I wouldn't call it favorite, but I feel like Lori and Chad's aren't done yet. So I don't even think that would be a real proper arrest, if I can say that. And this is definitely the step in the right direction for justice for Suzanne. We just got to find her. 100% agree. Was a hell of a big red flag. Absolutely. 25-second video. I ripped a strip into Barry's 25-second video, and I ripped a strip into his conversation with Tyson, bit by bit. And don't think Barry likes me too much, but oh well. Didn't want him to like me. So hey, Duty Ron, nice to see you. He says, amen to the wheels of justice for Suzanne. Great job by law enforcement. Absolutely. On the local, state, and federal level. Absolutely. One step in the right direction. And So very thankful that it's happening now and that it's happened. So this is great news. Nice to see you, Duty Ron. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check Duty Ron's channel. And nice to see you. It feels like forever since we chatted. But time is flying. Yes, that's coming too. That is coming too. So, Matt, again, Matt says, wonder if it's sealed because others involved, especially after what happened when AWP were there. Wasn't that crazy when Adventures with Purpose was down there? And they had to fear for their safety. So odd. It is so odd. I know with this case, something shifted and there was some weird happenings going on with the people that were covering the case. I do know that. It was very weird. Who knows? There could be other people involved. Maybe there's more arrests coming. I don't know. We'll find out. And it's sealed for a reason. And I guess we'll find out one way or another down the road. So, oh, they said no more arrests forthcoming. Okay, that's interesting. So, there we go. Duty Ron says, hello, friends. I'm off to bed. Just want to say great job with the coverage by Linda and all the great channels here on YouTube. Yes, thank you so much, Duty Ron. Thank you as well. And this is just a beautiful example of other creators coming together for the greater good and offering their expertise and their gifts and who they are. And this is just another step. Another step. So thank you so much for taking the time to come say hi. Stacy M says, thank you for all your research, heart and soul. Thank you so much. Lots of research goes into it, especially when you're after the truth, right? Lots and lots. Odie says, I read it said charges are for murder and attempt to influence an officer. So it's an attempt to influence a public servant is what it was. So we'll see. I don't know if we're ever going to find that out, but it would be interesting. So that's sweet. Everybody's saying goodnight to Duty Ron. So, and okay, Marilla says, they said no more arrests forthcoming at this time. So who knows, I think, yeah. We'll see. RMW says, still wondering if that was Barry on that bike with the wig spying on searches. I think that was actually his nephew. All right. So we're going to take a few more questions and comments, and then I am going to call it a night. I'm quite exhausted. Thank you for all your amazing hard work, Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, sometimes it gets hard covering these cases. A lot of times it does. It takes a lot out of everybody. I know a lot of you who watch true crime and follow true crime. A lot of people have trouble sleeping. They have troubles, they just want to find justice and they get angry. We go through all the gamut of emotions. And some days it's hard to be a YouTuber. And then at the end of the day, in days like this, where we see justice and it makes it, it keeps me doing this. I can't imagine not doing this. I do pour my heart and soul into it. I can't not see it through. And so I'm just very grateful. I'm grateful for a platform where I can speak. I'm grateful for all of you who support me and watch my videos. And I just hope that, little by little, we all can make a difference and find those who are missing and find justice for those who have been murdered. And yeah, I mean, some days it's hard to think, how can I do this for, years and years, because it would take a toll. But at the same time, I can't picture myself not doing it, because this, I feel like, is my purpose. I feel like I'm doing something, and I'm contributing what I know and what my nerdiness is, gifts, whatever you want to call it, and into something important. So I couldn't imagine not doing it, but I appreciate everybody, and I just appreciate this platform to be able to do it. So um, all right. So I think I'm going to go and chill out now. My email, let me give you the playlist for you guys to take a look tonight if you still don't want to sleep and you want to see more videos. And here's my email. Now remember, Barry's going to be in front of a judge tomorrow at 10:30. So there's that. And also, I think I've given you that. That's so sweet. Thank you, Nanny Love. Isn't that a great name? Love that. Thank you. All right. My throat's getting a little sore too, so I think I'm going to go and chill out now and go to sleep. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll keep you posted. If you haven't subscribed, do it. Hit the notification bell, and then you'll be notified of my next upcoming videos. As always, there's going to be a lot of them, and I will keep you posted on Suzanne Morphew. Check out some of my other videos in different playlists, available as well on my channel. And we're just going to go after justice, and we're going to get these people found, and justice is coming. And we did a little step for mankind tonight and today for Suzanne, and bittersweet, but justice is going to be served. And you know what? He's not going to do this to anybody else now. There's no opportunity again to do it. So that's where we're at. Nice to see you, Jessica Tompkins. I miss you. All right, you guys, have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.